G'day there guys! How can I face my problems if the problem is my face? It's Markee and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-hole. Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the content. Posted by user throwaway Am I the A-hole 823. Titled, Am I the A-hole for taking pictures of my girlfriend in a bikini? So my girlfriend and I have been together for 6 years now. We have a 15-month-old together, and I'm very happy and content with my life that we have created together. My parents, especially my mum, doesn't like my girlfriend. They've never said, I don't like your girlfriend, but they've never respected her. She would always be on the receiving end of their backhanded compliments and passive aggressiveness. Obviously, I couldn't tolerate that crap, and I started to distance myself from them. When we announced our pregnancy, my mum's first reaction was to blame my girlfriend for getting pregnant before marriage. I'm not going to explain how stupid that sounds. And to get mad at my girlfriend for choosing to continue her education while expectant and caring for a child. She's currently getting her master's degree. I told my mum several times to shut up. My girlfriend was still working out through most of her pregnancy, and very quickly fell back into that routine after she gave birth. It was completely her decision. She's happy working out, and she looks great either way, so who was I to stop her? My mum caught wind of this through a family friend, and essentially shamed her for it through a series of badly written text messages. I had to put a stop to it, and my mum just kept going. We eventually stopped responding to my mum's texts for a while. My parents came to stay with me because my mum's best friend, who was living with her, passed away. I was very hesitant to let my parents come over, but my girlfriend convinced me to take them and let them grieve properly. I did tell them that I wouldn't hesitate to kick them out if they insulted my girlfriend. They are staying with us for a week. My parents and my girlfriend managed to stay out of each other's hair. My mum actually gave my girlfriend a genuine compliment about her food. I know, it's the bare minimum, but I think it took everyone aback, and my dad didn't complain about anything. Good things only last so long. My girlfriend made a one-piece swimsuit and a bikini from scratch. She was really proud of herself and wanted to take pictures of herself in her bikini in our backyard and around and in the pool. It was all in good fun. She thought she looked nice and wanted to see her hard work. The photo shoot lasted almost 10 minutes, and my girlfriend immediately wore a robe when we were finished. I'm assuming my mum was watching us, because her first thought was to ask my girlfriend why she was so eager to reveal her body. Then she went on to basically call my girlfriend a tramp for posting revealing photos on her Instagram. My girlfriend took offense to that statement, and I got mad at her for being rude. My dad then chimed in, claiming that she could have waited until later to avoid being too distracting. My girlfriend began to wear looser clothing around my parents because she was starting to see their point of view. They are out of my house now, and I'm still ticked, but everyone thinks I'm overreacting. Edit, I did kick them out. However, I did give them a day to move out though, so that they could find a hotel or somewhere else to stay, hence the reason my girlfriend started to wear looser clothing around my parents. In a pipe dream, in the perfect world, we'd love to kick the parents out immediately, say, get the hell out, you're insulting my wife right now, grab your things, get out. But obviously, in reality, sometimes you have to give them that one day, even when it's not what you would want to happen. I can see why you did that. It doesn't feel great, but I can see why you did it. The fact that you realize that your wife is being assaulted and berated by your mother for such a long time, and when your wife finally snaps and gets mad at your mother for doing so, and you get mad at her for that. Why? Why do you do that? That's what makes you an a-hole in this situation. Obviously everyone sucks here, but I don't think your wife sucks here. You, your mother, and your father all suck for engaging in this and enabling the mother to continue to berate her solely because the mother doesn't agree with your girlfriend's lifestyle choices. Big whoop. Bloody hell, get over it. Get over yourself, mother. OP, you're the a-hole, your mother's the a-hole, everyone sucks here except the girlfriend. I feel really bad for her. Leaning towards everyone sucks here except for your girlfriend? Why are you allowing your parents to continue to verbally abuse your girlfriend? Is there some other reason you keep letting them in? They've shown you who they are. Believe them. You're the a-hole for not shutting that down sooner, but more than that, your parents are the a-hole for how they're talking to the mother of your child. I thought it was the girlfriend's idea for them to stay. Even if that was the case, OP has laid out a clear history of his mother overstepping and being an a-hole to his girlfriend. His mum, his responsibility to manage her when it comes to his chosen family. Spot on. I feel like the girlfriend is probably still trying to appease these people by treating them with kindness. The thing is, they've proved that nothing will win them over because they want to bully her. OP would have been wise to shut that down. There was only one way this was going to end, and there's years of history to back that up. Not the a-hole at all. Why would anyone think you are, or even think you are? Your parents are prudish pricks. What the hell is that sentence? I mean, he kind of is for even letting them anywhere near his girlfriend, considering their history. He knew they would overstep their bounds, and they did. He should have cut contact with them much earlier, to be honest. In regards to his question, he's definitely not the a-hole. I thought it'd be something like he did it without her knowing and put it in social media, pissing her off. Really, the story has nothing to do with the title though. I agreed he needs to sit his parents down and tell them to knock the crap off or he's done. Possibly it's his girlfriend trying to maintain the relationship and not him, despite how big of crapbags they are. Posted by user, I said no diapers. Titled, Am I the a-hole for expecting my wife to stick to our agreement that I don't handle our child's bodily fluids due to extreme squeamishness when it was her idea, and I made it the #1 condition of having a child before we tried to conceive? My wife and I got married 8 years ago, and neither of us wanted children at the time. My wife changed her mind a few years later. I liked the idea of having kids because I do like older children, basically when they can wipe their ass and have a conversation about something other than Paw Patrol. But I'm incredibly squeamish as a result of having a mild sensory processing disorder. I'm also a picky eater as a result of it, which I hate. I literally gag and dry retch at the sight of blood, vomit, etc. Very relatable, very relatable. God, I hate blood so much. She begged and pleaded with me that she would handle all the bodily fluids, and all the diapers, vomit, pee, blood, etc. is on her, and I would not have to do it. I didn't have to cut the cord, and I could be up by her head during the C-section, and I didn't have to look down. I didn't have to hold the baby until they were cleaned up, etc. She said if she was sick, she'd arrange for someone to look after those things, i.e. her mother or aunt. I agreed, but I made it clear that it was my condition of becoming a parent with her. I will work and support them, and I will read to the child. I will feed them, I will change them, I will love them. I will do things with them, but I will not be patching up skinned knees, I will not be changing pee or vomit-soaked sheets, and I will not be changing crappy diapers. She insisted that she'll get up and do every diaper change, every spit up, and vomit cleanup, etc. I made my wife send me a text and Facebook message agreeing to this before we tried to conceive, so I had it in writing, and she couldn't say she didn't agree. We now have a 3-month-old daughter. I adore her, but my wife is already over the agreement and calling me a crappy husband for not changing crappy diapers. I tried once and literally had to run into the bathroom and vomit. I reminded her that this is what she agreed to when we had our daughter, and that she can call her mother over, or we can look into a nanny or night nurse a couple of weeks ago. But I won't be handling our daughter's bodily fluids. Unpopular opinion here, but I'm inclined to be on the father's side for the fact that he does have a sensory processing disorder, even if it is mild. The fact that he's a picky eater and he hates that kind of puts me on his side for this one. If he literally can't do anything with this baby without having an intense reaction to it and needing to get out of the vicinity, then, she should be upholding her deal. She should be looking into the other options that the husband is giving her. He didn't want this kid if he had to do these things because he knew the territory that was coming into it. She agreed to it. She agreed to do it. She knows that he has a sensory issue. I understand that he's a bad father for not doing these things, But if I was in his shoes, I would probably be doing the exact same thing because I know that I physically cannot handle doing these things. It's a disability at this point. Are we really going to shun a man for having a disability? Because yes, it may seem petty, but I don't think it's something that he can force himself out of, overexpose himself to, till he's numb to this. I'm not sure that's going to help in this situation. I am no arbiter of medical knowledge, fatherly knowledge, parental knowledge, nothing. I don't have much experience in this, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. I'm going with not the a-hole. Honestly, everyone sucks here. Your condition doesn't sound as if therapy couldn't solve it, and it's your child. You eventually will have to take care of that stuff. I'm really torn on this one. I somewhat agree with your last sentence, but then again, that's assuming that he has something that therapy could resolve. If he's going to throw up and faint at the sight of the more unpleasant bodily fluids, then there's not a lot that he can do. His wife is almost certainly an a-hole, as this was discussed prior, and it sounds like it was one of those, "oh, he'll change" moments. Normally, I'd say that she should be able to expect help from her partner with these things, but not when it's been explicitly explained beforehand. I'm gonna say not the a-hole for this, but, OP, you really need to seek help for this condition and make an actual attempt to see if you can work through it. If you aren't willing to do that, then I think it'll become everyone sucks here. If your child falls over and cuts their leg, you need to be able to hold it together and assist them as required. That is part and parcel of agreeing to have a child. OP and their wife might think they could negotiate that reality away, but you can't. She is definitely the a-hole, but he is too. My mum is incredibly squeamish and will pass out at any sight of blood. I must have been 6 or 7 years old eating cereal, getting ready for school, when my mum nicked her finger washing a knife and fainted immediately on the kitchen floor. I had to cover her hand with a tea towel and get a neighbour to help. I've been patching up my own cuts as long as I can remember, with my mum handing me a plaster while closing her eyes, going, "It's okay, sweetie, pop this on. I'm sorry I can't look at it right now." Some people can't get over it, and I don't necessarily think it's the end of the world. Everyone sucks here. I don't understand how two adults would think it was possible for one parent to never have to deal with a child's bodily fluids. So if your wife gets sick or dies, you're just gonna let the baby decay in its own filth? Children are disgusting, and it's the job that you sign up for when you create them. You can't legally make an agreement like this because it's child abuse and neglect. Buy a gas mask and some gloves. Don't have children anymore. Imagine if he wore a gas mask 24/7 and the baby begins to believe that's just what his face looks like, and then like 10 years later while tucking her into bed, he rips the mask off to reveal his normal face and subsequently scarring his child forever. Happy times, that. Posted by user throwaway000292. Titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancé that he has to stop helping his ex with rent? My fiancé, 26 male, and I, 25 female, are supposed to get married next spring. But there's one thing that's keeping me from wanting to continue with the wedding until this is solved. Him and his ex had a baby when they were both 22, but broke up shortly after the baby was born. We started dating a year later and are now engaged. The child is now 4. He wants to stay close to his daughter, but the baby's mother cannot afford rent in a place closer and would have to move to either a 1-bedroom, a bad neighborhood about 25 minutes away, or a decent neighborhood an hour away. So my fiancé has made an agreement that he'd help her pay for rent, giving her $200 a month plus another $100 for childcare in exchange for not putting him on child support. Oh, come on. The $100 I can understand, but the helping with rent is really bothering me, and I feel like if she can't afford rent, then she needs to find another place to live. I'd be willing to take in her daughter if she decides to get a 1-bedroom instead, but my fiancé got angry and said the decisions he makes about his child do not involve me. His ex found out and said that if he stops helping with rent, she's gonna have to go for child support, and that she's helping us out because apparently she can get more from child support because of how much my fiancé makes. However, I think this is just an empty threat. I told my fiance I'm not marrying him unless he stops. No, I see through your veiled threats here, you witch, you heathen. You're trying to get money off of your fiancé. This is a money grab from you. She's just bluffing. She would never ask for child support. What, a woman in need? How dare she? You want him to stop giving her $200 a month for rent so that you can have that money for yourself and force him not to support his own child. $300 a month is nothing. You are so incredibly thick if you think she won't go for child support and take way more money that she deserves to have later on. Everything you are doing here as the wife is counterproductive, counterintuitive. Saying that you're not going to marry him unless he stops, looks like you're not getting married then, honey. Looks like you guys are going to break up. Because you obviously don't see the good deal that you guys are getting here, even though it's so wrong and it's not helping out the kid who deserves the money. You're the a-hole. You two are getting a steal of a deal for $300 a month in child support in lieu of a formal agreement through the courts that can cost you way more. You need to butt out. It's his child and he's a good man for wanting to provide. Yeah, what the hell? You're the a-hole 100%. Complaining on paying $200 for rent and $100 extra instead of thousands of more dollars of child support every year and a formal agreement is just loony. Like, how stingy are you, OP? OP is the kind of stingy that the saying penny wise pound foolish was coined for. Jumping onto this thread, just to say that OP's husband is no good man, so don't leave him out. He wants to get away with $300 instead of child support. Seriously? He seems to be doing well financially, while his ex is clearly struggling, and this is how he's planning to do his job as a father? It's the bare minimum in my opinion, and OP is even worse. Posted by user 1acanthocephala87, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling the principal that his punishment was dumb and taking my daughter out for a fun day instead? This happened last year, before the world fell apart. Just asking out of boredom. My daughter was in 2nd grade. She was in class and suddenly felt like she was going to vomit, so she tried to run to the bathroom. She didn't make it and vomited in the hallway. However, she was sent to the office for running out of class without permission. The principal called me about this and I had to come in. He told me that she was being punished and was losing her privileges to go on the field trip the next week. I told him that was insane considering she did it because she was trying to keep from making a mess and she's 7. She made a snap judgment that I think most people would make. On top of that, they sent her to the principal instead of the nurse. Anyway, he refused to change the decision, so I took my daughter out of school for the last 2 days of the week. Since she was missing out on the field trip, I wanted her to have as much fun as possible. So we went to an amusement park, the movies, and to paint pottery. She told her father about this during this visitation time, and he got very angry at me for undermining the principal. Am I the a-hole? She's 7 years old. What kind of sick, twisted school are you sending this child to that the principal is going to ban her from a field trip when a 7-year-old needs to vomit? What, is she not going to get punished if she just vomits all over her desk or all over the floor or in the bin? I had plenty of kids do that back in my class and I thought it was disgusting. What kind of message does it send as an authority figure? Oh, you know what? She doesn't need the nurse. She just needs the hard hand of the law. Bam! No field trip for you. Her father must have been sold some fairy tale fantasy about her going balls to the walls, trying to tear the school down and, run out of class and vomit everywhere because, it's probably hard for him to accept the reality that 7-year-olds, make good decisions. I don't really know where I'm going with this one. Father's a Looney Tune, he needs to pull his head out of his ass. So does the principal. Good on you, OP, for taking them out and enjoying your time with them and bonding. It's better than sitting in school while everyone's out on a field trip and you're just doing sheets and work and nothing by yourself for 2 days. That sounds horrendous. Not the a-hole. They sent a 7-year-old to the principal for puking instead of the nurse, and then doubled down when you called them out on their lunacy? Hell no, OP. You are not the a-hole. Yeah, is that even legal? Totally not the a-hole, OP. It doesn't even sound real. I can't imagine a principal doing this in 2020. They're so afraid of lawsuits and bad publicity. Wonder if there's some prior history or something. My kid gets sent to the nurse for anything she tells the teacher about discomfort. They call us all the time, lol. I literally had a teacher tell my class that she would rather let a student asphyxiate to death in her classroom than give them their legally prescribed EpiPen because she was so afraid of lawsuits. I'm not saying this to agree that this story sounds fake. I actually think some adults are so fudging stupid about laws that they'd rather punish or hurt a child worse than give them medical care. Jesus Christ, America, sort yourself out. Not the a-hole. You've just taught her that you'll have her back when someone mistreats her. That's a lesson she'll remember, and when she needs help, she'll come to you. You're a great mom. This, you showed her that you have her back and that adults in charge are not always right. Both are important things for her to learn. Way to go, OP. Okay, and I think that's where we're going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something from these stories. Just want to say a quick shout out to my Patreon subscribers and my channel members. You guys should be on the screen right now. If you do see yourself, I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back for being amazing and supporting me on this channel, this little journey we're going on the YouTubes. I really appreciate it, and you guys enable me to do all this amazing work. So if you do see yourself, I love your face and I'm happy to see you. Also guys, if you want to pitch in your own support, you don't have to, but channel links are down in the description below to support the Patreon, the channel membership, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like tipping me if you feel like I'm doing a good job on this channel. I will be opening up avenues for content on those in the future. Just right now I'm kind of bogged down and stuck in Ireland, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway guys, with that said, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. Whatever you're up to, I'd love to know down in the comments below. I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep. Whatever you're up to today, tell me, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.